Okay, guys, so I'm running this video to help with moby systems. As you can see, I did part 1 already. I can go back and try to reassign that to myself and give you a video. I'm going to focus this one on part 2. So this is solving a system of equations by graphing. Let's go and let's get this done.
Solve the system of equations by graphing 6x plus 3y equals negative 9 and x minus y equals negative 3.
Okay, so we have 4 choices total. Always remember to scroll down like this. If this is a system and we have to solve it by graphing, I want you to take a look at the form that they're in right now. This is not slope-intercept form, which is what we've been learning. We've been learning y equals mx plus b. This, however, this is in standard form. So I'm actually going to need to do some work here for us. Okay, let me write this down on the board and then I'll show you the work that we're going to do. So I'll start with the first one, 6x plus 3y. 6x plus 3y equals negative 9. Okay, so let's stop sharing. And then let me go back to my meeting. Okay, so 6x plus 3y equals negative 9. When it's in standard form like this, you want the y and x intercepts. That's the fastest way to graph. It's not the only way, but it is the fastest way. And the way to do that is when each one of them is 0 individually. So first I'm going to do x is 0. That's the first one I'm going to do. And then the next one that I'll do is when y is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. That's why this is the fast way to do this. So if this is 0, then really all I have is 3y equals negative 9. If you divide both sides by 3, then I get y equals negative 3. So when x is 0, y is negative 3, and we're going to graph that, but we need 2 points to make a line. So let's do the next one. The next one was x minus y is equal to a negative 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, before I can do that, I need the second point for this one. Sorry. So 6x plus 3 times 0 equals negative 9. 6x plus nothing equals negative 9. Divide both by 6. So x has to equal a negative 9/6, but they're both divisible by 3. We can simplify this fraction. So x actually equals a negative 3/2. Negative 3/2. And that's the first line. These two will plot our very first line. All right, so let's actually do that. We were supposed to plot 0, negative 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. There's 1 point right there. And we're supposed to plot negative 3/2, which is actually negative 1.5. So that would be right there. And the y is 0, so we're right there. And hopefully this comes out as straight as possible. Okay, that's the first one, and that is 6x plus 3y equals negative 9. So let's actually take a look at our answer choices. We take a look at our answer choices, and we take a look at the line that I just created. A cannot be a possibility. Neither can B. C can be, and they're not labeled. Oh, well, actually, this worked out for the best then, because I don't have to continue. This one is the only one that shows the line that I just made. This one is actually increasing, so that's false. This one is passing through the y-axis over here at 1, so that's false. This one is passing through 4. All right, so the only one that works out is this one.
Solve the system of equations by graphing 9x minus 3y equals 3 and x plus 1/2 y equals 2.
So I'm just going to mute that, I guess, because you don't need to hear that. You're going to hear it on your computer. Notice again, 1, 2, 3, I have 4 choices, and I still have a system, and they're both in standard form. So let's do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to erase the one that we just did. Maybe the same thing will happen. Maybe we'll plot one line and we won't have to plot the other one. I don't know. 9x minus 3y equals 3. So let's stop sharing that so you can see. Since they're both in standard form, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get the 2 points where there's intercepts, because that'll be the fastest way. Again, not the only way, but the fastest way. When x is 0, what is y? There's nothing here, so negative 3y equals 3. If I divide by a negative 3, I get y equals negative 1. Okay, that's that one. Next one. Same equation, but this time my y is going to be 0. So 9x minus 3 times 0 equals 3, right? 9x equals 3. I have to divide by 9. So x equals 3/9. However, we're going to simplify it again. Divide by 3. So x is actually 1/3. Okay, now let's take these points and plot them, and then we'll see if we need to plot the second line or not. Maybe we'll look out again. Technically, we should be graphing both, but let's save some time, right? I mean, if this was a test and you didn't have to solve both, why bother? So 0, negative 1, and then 1/3 and 0. Now, the positive third, you kind of like have to cut that into 3, and it's 0, so it's like right there. Very, very, very sharp, very steep, close to the y-axis kind of line. Let's see if we could find anything like that in our answer choices. Now, if these were in the y equals mx plus b form, I would be solving them a little bit different, but they're not. They're in standard form. Okay, now, this first choice, if you notice, this is directly on 1. And it is pretty steep. So that's actually a possibility. We can't rule that one out. This one we could rule out because you'll notice that this is passing through the y-axis at 1. But when I did mine, it's actually passing through a negative 1 on the y-axis. So this one's out as an option. This one is passing through the y-axis at negative 3, so that's obviously out. And this one is passing through a negative 1, so this is a possibility. So now this is a possibility. And if we look back up here, this is a possibility. So guess what, folks? This means that we have to actually graph the other one. So I'm going to write that down. That one is x plus half y is equal to 2. And we're just going to use the same strategy. Since they're both in standard form, we're going to use the same strategy. We're going to plug in 0 for x so that we can find what the y is. And then we'll do the same thing for the y. We'll get their intercepts, okay? That way it's easy to graph them. Okay, so there's nothing over here, which leaves just a half y equals 2. Now, we multiply by the reciprocal because that's a fraction. Y is actually equal to 4. Okay, what's the next one? We're going to keep x, but this time the 0 is for y. And equals 2, there's nothing here. This was nice. It's just x equals 2. So we have to take these 2 points. They represent the line. So let's graph them and see which one will be our answer choice for this question. Will it be A or D, right? Okay, so 0, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2, 0. So this line is actually coming down, decreasing, while the other one is going in the opposite direction, it's increasing. They intersect right here at 1, 2. So we have to look at our answer choices and look to see where A or D is the solution 1, 2. And we will make sure, well, that's 1, 2. How about the other one? That is definitely not 1, 2. This is like a third 0. So I don't know if they were trying to trick you. But if they're intersecting there, because this is definitely a point on one of our lines, but it's not the intersecting point, that means that we have to select this one. Okay, and it was correct. Good thing, right? That would be embarrassing if I got it wrong. Okay, next problem. Is this the next? Yes, this is the next problem already. Now, unfortunately, this is like, these are not the 5 stars yet, I don't think, right? Oh, it is. Oh, nice. That means that this might be the last one. Okay, so let's take a look. So hopefully you're getting the hang of this and you're noticing, oh, that's still in standard form. So we're going to be finding our intercepts again. So I'm going to set it up. I'm going to erase our lines. You can get started if you want and then just check your work against mine. That would be ideal since you're students. Okay, so this one is x minus 2y equals a negative 4. Let's go ahead and get our intercepts. Let's see. I have to stop presenting so you can see. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that stays there. Okay, let's plug in the 0 for x. What do we get? Negative 2y equals a negative 4. I have to divide by negative 2. So that I have 1y equals, a negative divided by negative is positive. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so this is 2. Now let's do the same equation, but this time we're going to plug in 0 for the y. That's how we find our intercepts, folks. All right, x equal, oh, here we go, nice again, negative 4, 0. Let's take these points. Let's plot them so that we have this line represented on our graph. And when we do that, we'll look to see if our answer choices match up with just one of them, okay? All right. So now we have 0, 2, and 1, 2, 3, negative 4, 0. Okay, so this is not steep. But it is a line, right? This is the line x minus 2y equals negative 4. I like to keep them labeled just in case. Now let's take a look to see what our answer choices are. Okay, let's take a look at A. Our intercept is supposed to be 2 for the first line that's increasing. So if you take a look at A, that intercept is actually 4. So that's not going to work out. How about this one? No, that's definitely not going to work out. Because this line that's increasing, it's hitting the y-axis at -3. Ours hits it at +2. So this one is promising. Let's take a look at D though. So this was nice because again, this one is actually decreasing. So there's no way, even if the y-intercept was 2, there's no way that this could be it. So that means that this is my only choice here. Okay, now that's actually it for systems of equation part 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. That way I do a separate one for this lesson and a separate one for this lesson. And by doing that, it makes sure that you guys only watch the one that you need. Okay, so that's the end of this one. Thank you, and I hope it helped. Okay.